In August 2007, thousands of people in Myanmar, also known as Burma, took to the streets protesting rising fuel and food prices. In the weeks that followed, scores of monks joined them in what became known as the Saffron Revolution. Gambira says activists had been making plans to challenge the military's rule, but rising discontent over fuel and food prices quickened the protest.
The Saffron Revolution
We actually planned the massive Saffron Revolution for 2008, but many people were already angry about the rising price of cooking oil and rice, so we came together earlier than we planned.
The ruling military junta violently suppressed the uprising. Gambira was caught and sentenced to 68 years in prison. After spending 4 years behind bars under brutal conditions, Gambira was included in a mass pardon just prior to U.S. President Barack Obama's 2012 visit. But since then, he was rearrested 3 times by authorities, most recently preventing him from taking part in a copper mine protest in Mandalay.
I was forced to disrobe. I'm not really happy, and I didn't want to leave the monkhood, but the army put a lot of pressure on me. They searched every monastery that I went to and told head abbots to not allow me to stay.
The treatment forced Gambira to leave the country, joining critics who say government policies are worsening religious and ethnic divisions, undermining the reforms that have drawn praise abroad. And so he is here in northern Thailand, teaching fellow migrants and staying in touch with colleagues on the other side of the border. As Myanmar prepares for elections next year, Gambira remains a skeptic.
Many countries, including the U.S. and the EU, have given the time for the Burmese government to reform the country. The 2015 election is coming up, and they haven't done any real reform yet. It's all lies, because the junta says they will reform just to protect their own businesses and control.
For Myanmar, the coming year will test whether critics like Gambira have reason for pessimism, or whether authorities can conduct a free and fair election without turmoil in the streets. Steve Sandford reporting for VOA from Chiang Mai, Thailand.